Yo, Vemtaz here, and this is my third account, the second account review I'm doing, my own account, Cyressa. And to give you a little background, if you didn't watch the other videos, my first account was Vemtaz, and that's the one I started on my phone when I came back from China. And my family was all playing this game and all talking about it, showing it to me every day for months, well, a little over a month. And so finally, they helped me make an account and started playing the beginning stuff for me, and I didn't have a clue what was going on in the game. I didn't have a clue where I was supposed to hunt, what I was even supposed to do at the time. Everybody's telling me build this monster, don't build this monster, and totally confusing. So I watched videos and tried to figure out what most people were saying, on what monsters to build, how to play the game. And about a month after that, maybe a month and a half, I got another phone where I started my Razalon account, which I already did the review on, if you haven't seen that yet. And then after watching videos, after playing for a couple months, I kind of realized that people really like light dark monsters, and that these light dark monsters in the game were something that everybody really wanted. And people that had, I'd look up their accounts in chat when they're talking about their Nat 5s and how they have Chow and Velajul and Zyros and all this, but they all wish they still had some great, Nat 5 light dark, or this really rare light dark Nat 4 that was a really good game changer. So after seeing that for a while, I thought to myself, there's got to be a way that I could try to, get one of these light dark Nat 4, Nat 5 monsters in the game. So what I did was I started about 6 accounts. And so what I did was I realized that every month, at the end of the month, if you logged on each day, you got a free light dark Nat scroll, or light dark scroll. And kept playing my other 2 accounts, growing them. If my one account was out of energy, I'd play the other for a little while, and vice versa, just, growing the other 2 accounts, my Vemtaz and Razalon account. So then, a couple months went by, you open up light dark scrolls at the end of the month, and I actually pulled a few. I got like the dark Sylphid, I think, on one of my accounts, on 2 of my accounts, the other accounts I opened up, actually. I had like 6, it was maybe even more, it might have been like 9 accounts. I had like 6 or 7 accounts, and it was like the second month of doing that on this Cyressa account I had, which actually, out of all the, I call them poop accounts, because they're junk basically, but you're just basically using them to try to get some really cool Nat 4 or Nat 5 monster. I mean, of course, I'm thinking to myself, well, at least if I got like a Huadam or, some cool light dark Nat 4, then I'll start playing, if it was worth it, I'd start playing that account. So it was like the second month of doing that, about my 4th month playing, maybe 3rd or 4th month playing. And, I'm opening up all my monsters. And, of course, I would, summon the mystical scrolls and, on those accounts, too. And so I'm laying in bed and, like, got my tablet there. I switched to the Cyressa account, which, out of all the poop accounts that I had, it was, like, the worst. It had Freya. I think Freya was the first Nat 4 I pulled on it. And, I mean, the rest of it was just complete junk. And I'm like, well, I thought to myself, if this account doesn't get anything good, this month, then what I'm going to do is I was going to reset the account, because my other strategy was, I'm going to farm Nat 4 or Nat 5 light dark monsters, and I came up with a way to do it, which I don't even know if I should say, but I'm sure you guys could figure it out. What I was going to do is going to reset the account and play it up to Faimon, get the light dark scroll, open it. If I don't get anything, reset the account, start over again. I actually did this after this account for a little while, but it's really a lot of like boring, repetitive work to get in. I kind of gave up on it. I mean, it still would work, but I didn't want to do it anymore. So anyways, I'm laying in bed with this account. Here's my last one I'm doing, and I got it made up in my mind. If I don't get anything good, I'm going to reset it and then start doing that farming to Faimon on this account, and then, resetting the light dark scroll every month. So anyways, I lay in bed, I open up my light dark scroll, instantly I see lightning. I'm like, ooh, lightning, and I'm still new to the game. I really don't know, how rare it is to get monsters, how hard it is to get monsters. And all of a sudden, boom, I see this light dragon, and I'm like, so I show my wife, I'm like, hey, look what I got, and she's like, and so I'm like excited about it. I'm like, wow, I literally realistically was expecting to maybe get a light dark Nat 4 cool monster, then start the account, And when I saw this dragon, it was like, oh god, okay, well, I definitely cannot ignore this account anymore. So now I have 3 accounts, and it's like, it's there. I have 3 accounts now. And I think at that point, even on my Razalon account, I hadn't pulled any Nat 5s yet at all, and it like became the crap account like right away after pulling, Zerath. So it was like I was freaking. I was like, whoa, man! So I like text my one, or I think tried to call my one brother that was playing the game, that got everybody started. He didn't answer. So I called my other brother who was playing the game, talked to him, like told him, and he was like speechless. Like I don't think he thought it was even real, at first. And so then finally my other brother called me back. I told him what happened. He's like, he wanted a dragon really bad. Like every time I talked to him, I want a Zyros, I want a Zyros, I want a dragon, I want a dragon. He really badly wanted a dragon. So anyways, so I ended up pulling one of the rarest monsters in the game, the Zarath, and it's like, okay, well, I can't ignore this account, so I have 3. So that's how this account came to be. It had Freya before that. That was like the only monster I had pulled. And so then I started playing the account. And, I started playing the account. I had 3 to top. I got all my 3 tablets sitting here. I was playing on like an iPad at the one point, and it crashed all the time and I really hated it. Eventually, I bought this really cheap, not Samsung, but it ran Android on it. And then I ran those 2 phones and then the Android, so that didn't crash so much. But until I got that Android, it was really frustrating because it would, crash every hour, multiple times. I mean, it's like if you played for almost an hour, it would crash. Like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, guaranteed it's going to crash. Would not go an hour without crashing. So my next goal was to get rid of that tablet and get something that doesn't crash, which I did. So anyways, I started farming with this account, and I'm going to go through like the monsters, and if my memory's correct in the order that I got them. We changed this back to the element thing. Well, of course, got her. But actually, when I first started, well, I don't know, on this account, she might have been in the game. But so anyways, so the first monster I got was Zarath, And shortly after that, I don't know if it was like a month or so later, I ended up pulling Velijoul. So I was like, ah, cool. I got an angel. I already had my Vemtaz account, which I haven't done the review yet. I have a Ladriel. He was my second Nat 5 I pulled. So I pulled Velijoul, and I was like, all right, cool, this account's getting some good luck, and then like shortly after that, it was, I started working on the fusions and stuff. I'm building, I think I built Vermos first, and so like I'm working on Sigmaris, and I got like 2 of the Nat 4s I need for him done, I think, or pretty much ready to be fused and made, and I pull Sigmaris from a mystical scroll. It's like, okay. The funny thing is, like about a month before I pulled it on this account, I think it was on my Razalon account, that was the first Nat 5 I got, which was Sigmaris from a mystical scroll. So now I've pulled 2 Sigmarises on the 2 different accounts. Then I think it was the next one, I believe, then I pulled TOAH. And I pulled TOAH, and it was like, oh wow, that's another nice Nat 5 that a lot of people want because of her strip and her heal. So the count instantly was getting better and better, And let me think here. Then I kind of went for a dry spell for a while here. I didn't get any. I think the next one I got actually was, or not Nat 5, but well, you see there's the Zarath right there. Yeah, when I saw him, it was like, he's like, I'm in bed for one, so I was like, man, is this even real? It's like, pinch yourself, and it's real. Then I pulled Pong, and I got her shortly after that. She was another light dark Nat 4 I got. It was like shortly after that. I'm not sure how much longer. I wasn't around for the Hall of Heroes when Diaz was in there, of course. The first Hall of Heroes where they had Diaz. So the one day I have my 3 accounts, and like I just do these little rituals every day. When I do my wish, I do them the same time, So I do my wish with all 3 of them, and I'm doing other stuff. I'm watching TV and watching the computer, YouTube videos. I'm always doing multiple things and playing the game. So, I hit them all, and I'm just like, doing something else. I look back down, and I'm like, I see on my ones on the Cyressa screen, Diaz sitting there, and it's awakened, and I'm like, oh, the wish gave it to me. I didn't even see it happen. It was just, I looked down, because you always get crystals, or you get energy, or you get, wings, or you get a little bit of mana stones. So I popped down, was like, wow, Diaz, okay. So the account went from being one that I was going to reset because it was so crappy to like the luck just, coming out of the all over the place. And, so I was like, okay, nice, Diaz, and I don't think they had R5 yet, or maybe the rifts just came out at that point because it was kind of new to the game. So at that point, I'm like, all right, well, I got these 3 accounts, and this, of course, the Cyressa account was like I'd say over 3 months after I started my main account. So it was behind, it's behind, and, I'm trying, at the time I'm working on my towers, my Sanctum of Energy, my Mysterious Plant, maxing those all out, then working on the Speed Tower, working on the Hit Point Tower, the Crit Damage one, and, doing those kind of things. And the Cyressa account was like, behind, obviously, because it was basically the newest one that really didn't get any time until I pulled Zarath, So at that point I was like, well, I want to, I played other games before. I played obviously, I've played a lot of games like World of Tanks, World of Warcraft, older games that you guys have never heard of. Played some World of Warships too. I tried out Final Fantasy 14. I play Civ 6 all the time too. I do like the treadmill and play that at the same time, and just for fun. It helps pass the time instead of like feeling like you're just walking in place doing nothing. It kind of, you're playing the computer while I'm playing my 3 Summoners War accounts and playing Civ 6 all at the same time and walking. So it's kind of like multitasking. So anyways, at that point, in World of Tanks, in that game it's free to play. You don't have to pay anything. But if you do pay in that game, what you do is you can buy premium time, which basically as you're playing your tank, you're doing stuff, you get more money, you get more experience per battle you do. It helps you advance a little faster. The other thing you can do is you can buy a premium tank. And if you buy a premium tank, it's usually like, say you're in like a tier 8, there's tier 1 through tier 10. That tank will be a good tank to start with. It's not as good as like the regular tier tanks in that same tier. But it usually is pretty good, it holds its own, and you make more money with it. Like the ammo that you shoot, it costs money to replace. Your tank gets damaged, it costs money to fix it. But the premium tanks cost less to repair, their ammo costs less, so you make more money each game, basically. More money, more experience. So again, it's something that you don't have to have in that game to play, but it helps you speed it up. And I've paid for those before, so I'm not against pay to play or pay to, a free to play game and paying some stuff on it. But I really don't want to do it in this game. But after a while playing, in this game, my Vemtaz account, my Razalon account, I never paid anything. But this account was like behind, and I wanted to get it caught up a little bit. So I figured, well, I like this game, I'm playing it all the time. And then what happened was they released the Rift the 3, where you have the 3-headed dragon. You have raid 1, raid 2, raid 3, raid 4, raid 5. And so I thought to myself, well, I got 3 accounts, it's perfect. I got my own raid team. But because the account was behind some, I thought, well, there's no way to speed it up unless I put some money on it. So I figured, I'd play the game. I would, if it was another game that I was paying monthly fee, it's not a problem. So on the Cyressa account, I did buy, I think it was like a 2,000 crystal pack, and like a 3,000. It ended up being like around 3,000 to 5,000 crystals the pack had, and it had like I think two. It was like two. I think it was two legendary scrolls too. I ended up getting the Fire Succubus and I think the Fire Ninja, which was totally terrible, but I didn't care about that part anyway. I just wanted the crystals, because what I had done is, before I got that, I basically spent most of my crystals farming arena and like over and over trying to catch up my towers so that my monsters would perform better in Rift. So this account was free to play up to that point, and I haven't spent anything since, and I'm not planning on spending anything since. So in full disclosure, my other 2 accounts are completely free to play. This one I did pay a little bit on, so if you want to call it pay to play, pay to win, whatever, that's fine. I paid to get about 3 to 5,000 crystals, I think it was. And I just did that basically because my other 2 accounts were at that amount, and after I had spent all the crystals I had on Cyressa, basically doing energy refreshes, wings refreshes to farm up some arena to get the towers caught up to where they're closer to my other accounts, then I had no crystals, and I couldn't, no crystals you can't really play. I mean, you could slowly let them regenerate back up and that, but again, I wanted to catch it up to my other accounts a little better so I could do R5 together. So at that point I got a little bit there. So it was like $7 or $80 I think total I spent, but it was like, about 3,000 to 5,000 crystals, and I had like, no Devil Mon, stuff like that. But anyways, so at that point, started playing and played for a while. And the way I play too is I open up my scrolls usually as soon as I get them, unless we're saving for a guild war or a guild event, which right now we are. I don't know, I just seem to have better luck opening them as I get them. Every time I've bought like premium packs with crystals, I've gotten crap, up to a certain point, which was about, it was about 2 months ago, I would say. And, I just decided, the one night I was like, I opened up a bunch of, I saved up some scrolls is what I did. I wasn't going to see if that worked, so I saved up scrolls for like a month, because what I was doing is I was keeping a log of what I got as I got them. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to save up my stuff. And on all 3 of my accounts, I had like, probably like 300, well, at the time I had like maybe like 150 scrolls combined saved up. And, saved up some legendaries, light and darks and everything. And I started opening them up, and I pretty much got crap, so I got junk. I think I got, on my Razalon account, I got a second Neostone Agent light from my light and dark scroll, which she's pretty much worthless, at least in my opinion she is. On that account I also got a dark brownie magician who's Corona, who from every review I see, he's not worth anything. On Razalon, I did get the water panda, which was good. It was like, all right, boom, a nice, really good monster in that game. Vemtaz got absolutely nothing. And on Cyressa, you know, I'm opening up my stuff and everything. I get a Nat 5. That Nat 5 is my first dupe Nat 5 I ever got, which was Sigmaris again. So now I've pulled 3 Sigmarises out of my accounts. 2 on Cyressa, 1 on Razalon. So anyways, I was like, all that saving, all that work. I mean, not that it was a lot of saving, but, you know, you have expectations that you're going to get something worthwhile, which I got on Razalon. I got the Molong, who's good. I got 2 lightnings from from that account's light and darks, but they were both worthless monsters. On Vemtaz, I did get 1 good thing. I got, well, 2. I got a Sheer, who's pretty useful, and then I also got Leomei, who is the light kung fu girl. So, but besides that, and the amount of scrolls I opened, I really wasn't happy with it. So I decided to buy premium packs and kind of go crazy with it a little bit. I'd open up, you know, 1 on each one, 33 scrolls, you know, pop them all, see what I got. And then I do another, and I did another, and I did it for a little while because my crystals were around like 10,000. You know, from the way I play like a very crystal conservation type play, where I don't really spend them except for energy refreshes or sometimes wing refreshes. Like if my arena rank gets really low, I'll do 10, I'll do 10 again, then maybe 10 again, then I'll stop. So I'll spend like two 30 crystal wing refreshes now and then occasionally. But usually my crystals are really high because I do a lot of farming, and I do all the events, and I do everything like that. So they were up at a high point where I kind of like rage summoned. I'm like, all right, I got all these crystals, I'm saved up, you know, and I didn't really get anything I'm happy with. So I started buying packs and buying packs and buying packs. I ended up summoning probably around a little over 300 scrolls total, I would say. And, you know, Vemtaz still got nothing. Still got nothing. Razalon didn't get anything else either, I don't believe. Let me check and make sure. That's the wrong count. Anyways, I don't think Razalon got anything else, but Cyressa then got, you know, now keep in mind I had got another Sigmaris, which is in storage, and then I got, I believe it was Poseidon. So I'm like, oh, okay, got a Water Sea Emperor, you know. And so then I, you know, kept going, and I really wanted to get Vemtaz something, but of course I was summoning on all 3 because all their crystal accounts were pretty high. So keep summoning, buy another pack on all of them, summon again, and then this popped up on Cyressa, Chandra, and I'm like, you know, Chandra, they buffed her, whatever, recently, and they changed this skill to where it inflicts damage. You know, it does defend, if you don't know what defend is by now. And then what had happened is they added this to it. This instantly recovers a turn afterwards. That was their big idea for the buff for Chandra to make Chandra useful. I still don't think she is. I just actually 6-starred her recently because she was sitting there at 5-star, and I had a ton of 5-star Rainbow Mons just ready to go, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I need to make room for the upcoming summoning session with my guild, because right now my storage was at 600 of 600 with all fusion monsters, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5-star Rainbow Mons, just clogging it up, you know. So, and then, so I kept doing packs, because Vemtaz still hadn't got anything yet, and so, you know, the next thing that came out was, let's see, gotta find him, was here, the Fire Monkey King. So that summoning session that I did, you know, Razalon got 1 Nat 5, Molong, got 2 Light Dark Lightnings, which were pretty useless. Vemtaz ended up getting two monsters I'm going to use, but the rest was all junk. I mean, I got, you know, Leomei, who I'm using in Rift 5 right now as a frontline, and I got Sheer, who I really haven't given him great runes yet, but I probably will use him for Guild Wars. I used to use one on Razalon for Guild Wars a lot, until I got a little bit better monsters that perform better there. But Cyressa ended up getting, like I said, she got Sigmaris, Chandra, Poseidon, and Meiho, who is the Fire Monkey King. And yeah, so it went really bad for Vemtaz. Vemtaz got crap, but the Cyressa account got 4 Nat 5s from that summoning session through premium packs. But besides that, I've never gotten anything from premium packs. I still don't want to buy them. I still don't plan to ever buy them. It just, to me, is a waste of crystals, because those crystals can be spent on energy refreshes, farming essences, dragons, giants, necropolis. And while farming those kind of things, rifts, raids, fire, wind, water beasts, you can find mystical scrolls occasionally. Plus you get money. Plus you get essences if you're doing that, or runes if you're farming giants, dragons, necropolis. And then you can use that money from all that farming to buy the occasional mystical scroll from the shop. So to me, to spend 75 crystals, or you'd get 1 extra from a 750 pack, to summon something that's 99% of the chance, what feels like 99% of the chance is going to be an at 3 is kind of worthless to me. So I like to use my crystals to spend on energy refreshes, arena wing, stuff like that. But so this is kind of how this account went. I'll look at some of the other monsters I built on here. Let's see. Lapis I'm using in the raid are the Rift Fire Rift Beast a lot recently. Megan I use as my attack bar booster for my arena team, for my Devolution team. I mean, of course, you always need better runes. I'm not really using him. He just has leftover runes. Yeah, see, he's holding runes basically right now. Theomars I use, of course. You always need better runes. Chilling is a great monster. He's great for guild wars with, you know, if you have an immunity monster. Sigmaris, of course, I use him. This monster I don't really use right now. I had him built, but then I wasn't really happy with his performance in the Fire Beast or in Necro. He's not even on my current Necro team. Praha, I just recently switched her up. I had a team she was on for guild or for arena, but I changed it recently because I want her to be violent and revenge. I want her to go more often, to heal more often, because like in TOA and other spots, she wasn't healing enough to keep a. You know, I'm hoping that she's going to be able to be the solo healer for R5 is what I'm hoping. I don't know if she can do it. I mean, right now I use my 3 teams, but right now the teams are all set up for like sustain, multiple healers, ride it out, and slowly beat down the boss. I'm eventually hoping on my Vemtaz team to have Anavel as the only healer, have Praha the only healer on this one, and then on my Razalon team, Vemtaz, or I want to say Cheatson. I call Chasen Cheatson, in case you didn't know. But yeah, I want Cheatson to be my only healer on that team too. So that's kind of why I moved her to Violent Revenge. I figure the more she revenges, the more attack bar she gets back, the more violent she does, the more heals she can get off, and hopefully keep that team alive. And they have the panda on each team too, so that's like a little bit more healing. But let's see, the water homunculus. All my teams I have the water homunculus for TOA hard, TOA normal. Galleon, his runes need. I mean, I need to really fix his runes, Poseidon's runes, because they were really good speed tuned with Praha and Zerath for one of my arena comps I use for offense. But I kind of took a lot of his runes away from him, and he's not speed tuned very well. Him and Poseidon are really slow, a lot slower than they need to be. And now Zarya, I use her currently with my Lucian team. I have Zarya, Megan, double Lucian, and it works out pretty good because a lot of people bring fire teams comps against to compensate for Lucian. And, you know, I usually get to go first. I mean, barring that they're a really fast team. If they're a really fast team and I don't think I'm going to outspeed them, I bring my other comp, which is Zerath, Praha, Poseidon, and Galleon. You know, that way Praha can strip and then go from there. But if I think I'm outspeed them pretty well, then I bring Zarya, Megan, and double Lucian. She's really good because a lot of teams have Rakan or have, you know, Kumar, different fire beasts that are a little hard to kill with Lucians. And she can usually clean up a fire monster. Her third skill, right now her runes aren't that great and she does good. I mean, I'm already happy with her performance now, but you know, this skill hits really nice. Heals back, put their attack bar down. If it knocks their attack bar to 0, it puts them to sleep. I have her right now just attack, and they're not even powered up as you can see. And her crit rate's not high, crit damage isn't high. I'd eventually like to get her on attack, crit damage, attack. But, I mean, this is kind of nice not having her so high crit rate, because against, like, Camilla's and stuff like that, she'll take them down even faster. But, I mean, I'm really happy with her. I mean, I'm glad I 6-starred her. Chandra has just, I threw runes, yeah, they're not even 4 runes. As 6-starred her, but I don't really know where I'm going to use her, how to use her. I mean, I know how, but I still am not happy with it. She needs a buff. You know, the other beast monks are just so powerful, where her, it's like, okay, you're dead. You lost. You brought Chandra. You already lost. Poseidon, again, like I said, he's really slow. Him and Galleon are really slow right now. I need to get them faster and better speed tuned for my other arena team. They were speed tuned really well, but last rune removal, I changed up the runes so much on this account that I had to take away from them like all their better runes. So, you know, let's see here. We got TOAH. Of course, TOAH, she's good for almost everything. R5. Jar, Necropolis. I use her in Necropolis also. Colleen is also very good. I mean, like I had just made an early game video. She's one you should build pretty much right after you build Lapis. Lapis should be your first farmer, you know, you can watch the video and see what I talk about that. But she is really good too. I mean, she's just a really good monster, really easy to skill up. I use him in TOA, of course. And here's Velajul. I mean, I just changed him last rune removal too. He was set up as Swift. I had him my fastest attack bar booster, and I was using him that way for like arena and stuff, but it just wasn't really working out that much, and then I wasn't using him. I was using other teams, and he was just kind of sitting there. So after I runed up all the monsters, I really focused on Raid 5 last rune removal. So the monsters for Raid 5 got all my best runes. And then what was left kind of went to the other monsters. I still use him. I mean, he's a great monster, but I need to farm a lot of dragons. That's what I'm kind of learning. I've been farming a ton of Necropolis, trying to get Xerath a better set. You know, right now he's at Vampire and Will, and I would like to try a Rage Will on him, or even like a Fatal, or, you know, something that's, but right now, the best runes I have for his overall best damage, best everything is Vampire. And, I mean, it's nice to have the Vampire for that third skill. When he hurts himself, he heals himself back up, but I would really like to try him with even more of a burst damage, but from all the farming I've been doing in Necropolis, I really get crappy Rage runes, so he's still stuck at Vampire. And by farming Necropolis like crazy, I have been neglecting dragons, and my Violent Revenge and Violent runes are just pretty lacking right now at this time. I need to get better ones. Tasarian, I use him mainly in Guild Wars. Some levels of TOA I'll bring him into. Or if it's like an arena thing with like a arena or someone else that's really going to be a long battle, I'll pull him in to make it faster. But Red is a great monster for TOA. I use him all the time also. I mean, he should of course be faster, but I mean, like I said, my runes aren't the greatest. I was using him a lot for Necropolis, but as you can see right now, he has no runes. I was using him for Necropolis, but again, he's like an early build Necropolis team, and right now I don't use him at all. And I mean, I don't regret building him. I used him a lot to farm Necropolis in the beginning, but right now I just really don't need him. And then Vertiheel, I use him occasionally also. I use him in the Wind Rift Beast, and that's the funny thing is on my first account, as soon as I put him in, it was like I was doing so much better. So now on all my accounts, I realized he's got to be there on the Wind one. Him, I really don't use him as much, you know, because we're not really being competitive in our Guild Wars, so he's a really good Guild War defense monster, but we're a farming guild right now, just farm all the time, so I don't build him or use him really. He's in the front line for my Necropolis, he's in Necropolis also, but he's front line for my Rift team. You can see he's slower than crap, but his defense is really nice, his hit points are nice, and he just, you know, I mean, he's really good. I don't use him, I think, on Cyressa, but you know, if I need to, he's already set up right for it. He does go into my Necropolis team. TOAH, I use her for basically a couple of the different raid teams, Rift teams, the Fire Beast. I don't know if I use it in the Fire. I know I use it for Wind. Kali, she's the one I talked about too for being a really good beginning monster to build. I use her in the Guild Wars a lot, and to like if it's like, say it's like Chasen, Theomars, and then something whatever, I'll use her to come in there and take Chasen right out of the scenario. Or a Bella, she'll take Bella right out. You know, she takes out I mean, even really high hit point healer she can drop if your runes are good enough on her. Now I use him definitely for R5. He's in the front line. I changed his runes up a lot. It's working better now. I still need to improve them. Like I have to power this one up still. I need to get some, you know, some better runes. I mean, you always need better runes. Farm. I use him for TOA, 2A hard. Copper I really don't use anymore, so as you can see, I've been stealing his runes slowly. He's nice for Guild Wars, but again, like I said, our Guild Wars really aren't that competitive, so to build him a really good set just for the occasional guild that doesn't have a one monster defense, to me, isn't worth it. Mav, I didn't use him until, like, I'd say a month ago on my accounts. I never used him for TOA, but I started to, and I realized how good he is there, and, you know, he's definitely worth building. It's one of my double Lucians that I use for my arena. And these current Lucians are speed crit damage attack, because they're speed tuned to go, you know, they're speed tuned with Megan and Azaria. So this is another monster. If you ever get him, definitely build him. He's great everywhere. I use him in Guild Wars also. Mainly, I would say most of the time in Guild Wars and Rifts. He also should be on my raid team eventually because of that branding. I use like a combination I use for Guild Wars with him. I use him as leader because he gives the attack power to everybody. Let's see, I'll say it wrong. Yeah, increases attack power by 33%. I'll use like a comp with him, Lucian, and then Fuko. Or if I need a little bit of healing, or if there's a Theo, I'll bring like him, Fuko, and Delphoy. Delphoy will knock the cooldown for Theo, and then they just slaughter him and make quick work of him. But yeah, he's a very good monster. Delphoid too. I use her in R5. So, well, I don't know if I use her in R5 right now. I've been switching my comps up a little bit. I may use her in R5 right now. I'd have to look at my current team to see. I built this monster for R5 too. He did good, but I mean, like I said, right now I'm still kind of messing with the teams to see who works the best. Now Fuko, his runes should be so much better. He is so great. He's the reason I need to farm a lot more Violent Revenge. You know, he's got, like, not my best set, but he's got a decent set, and his second skill, man, that thing hits hard. And then if you get it maxed out, you know, you're using it every 2 turns. It's like kind of like Perna's. Perna's second skill is so powerful, and you get it to 2 turns cooldown. Same with Fuko. I mean, at one point, while my Fukos weren't maxed and I maxed them out, just at least the second skill to get maxed out. He needs to have one of your best sets of Violent Revenge, and I mean for Necropolis, he's really good there too. But I mean, this second skill in action, especially if there's a defense break, oh man, the damage he puts out is incredible. Chasen, same thing. I kind of took her runes because I was building Praha as Violent Revenge, and so I took a lot of Chasen's good runes. So right now you can see she's speed, defense, HP, and it's not even powered up. It's not that I don't want to use her. The problem is she needs skilled up. I did get this on all my Chasens. I finally got a Chasen on all 3 accounts. Their Falling Blossoms is maxed, but this skill really needs to be maxed, and it's going to take a large investment of Devilmons, or what I'm hoping for is that when the Light Paladin comes out, they make one of them, hopefully, maybe Miang or Huahi, or I don't think it'll be Chasen. Make one of them as a Hall, or not Hall of Heroes, but as part of the fusion. So say they make Huahi part of the fusion, then I'll make a ton of fusion or Huahis to feed to my Chasen and skill her up. But I figure I could probably Devilmon her now and it'd make my R5 teams go much smoother, or I wait, which I think it's going to be this month, or at the worst till December, to find out what's going to be in the Light Paladin. And if it's not part of it instantly, then I'll probably Devilmon. Unfortunately, I don't want to, but I'll probably Devilmon my Chasens up to get this skill up, because 3 rounds in R5 is much better, and the recovery, than leaving it at this 4-round cooldown. It's on my Razalon, my Chasen's completely maxed. That account has no problem ever. My other accounts, they'll wipe occasionally, and I know part of it is my Chasen's not good enough. And so I mean, it's a huge deal to get this max, but it's a huge investment of Devilmons, because you're not, especially as free to play. Well, not that this account's technically free to play, but when you're not paying money in the game to summon more and more, you're not getting a lot of Huahis or Miangs or extra Chasens to feed to those. So your Devilmons you got to use really, really carefully. Katarina, I just built her recently. She's not skilled up at all. I'm pretty sure none. Because I still, on my Vemtaz account, I've pulled like 4 or 5 Chloes. On Razalon and Cyressa, I have not pulled 1 Chloe. So I'm using the Quebezanuf, and let me find him here. You can see his runes are like all I use him for is Guild War, and again, like I said, for Guild Wars, right now we're just farming, and it doesn't make sense for me to build him all the way up to 6-star, give him great runes, and then, you know, I mean, I have so many monsters already, I have to spread my runes out too thin, so to give him a really good set just to go along with Katarina to beat on a team that has 1 monster defense, it doesn't make sense right now. So, you know, just like, I mean, Katarina's got decent runes on her, but it just doesn't make, it's not worth the investment to build her up with I mean, she's got good stuff, I'll show you. She does pretty good crit damage, crit rate, and she's got pretty good attack. But it's a broken set and I had to make her will, because what happens is every time she'll get stunned, and it just annoys you. I mean, you still have Bella that'll strip you right before it's your turn to go. But I was using him a lot in Guild Wars against some Ciara teams also, but you can see recently I've kind of started stealing his runes too, because there's just too many monsters to build, and he's one I mainly use for Guild Wars, so those kind of monsters are kind of getting the shaft, and on my team at least, when it comes to rune, you know, priorities. And Zerath, his runes are okay. They should be a lot better, but again, I've been farming and farming and farming. I've had him as energy, like all energy. I've had him as, you know, I've tried out a couple of different comps. I had him Violent Blade, and now I have, or not Violent Blade, Vampire Blade. Now I have him Vampire Will, because he was on that arena comp where it was him, Praha, Poseidon and Galleon. And the way that one would work is, you know, Zarath's the leader for crit rate. You're expected not to go first. Galleon has willpower runes also, and he has shield runes. So what happens is they go first, they attack, and usually you survive it because you have the shield runes on. And then what happens is it was speed tuned for TOAH to go first. So if they have a Chloe or they have, you know, shield runes up on them or whatever, will runes on, TOAH would try to strip. The next person I had to go in line was Galleon. Galleon would put on his, you know, time to loot, give everybody attack bar buff, and try to get a defense break on them. And then I would have Poseidon go next. And what Poseidon does is, with his third skill, it attempts to knock their cooldown or their attack bar to 0. Now, if you didn't get the strip on their willpower, it's not going to help. But if it did, and he does that, basically puts all their attack bars to 0. So Zarath is really slow, as you saw. And if he knocks their bars down, then Zarath gets to go next and do his Armageddon and hopefully kill their whole team. Or at least kill off the most of the team to where you can finish it off with the rest of your guys. So that's the kind of way I play him now. I've wanted to try him at Rage, but I don't have a good Rage set. I mean, like I said, I've been farming it like crazy. I even thought of trying him at Fatal, but every time I go through the rune optimizer and I try to, okay, let's see, what's his best attack, you know, HP, it always comes up with this set here as being his best value set that I have right now. So until I find better, I mean, he's not bad. He's at like 45,000 hit points. Or am I reading that right? 10, 20, 30, 35,000 hit points. So yeah, 20, 30, 35, yeah, a little over, about 36,000 hit points. The one thing I did is try to give him more attack because, I mean, everyone loves him and thinks he's like the best monster in the game. This skill makes him good, but he hurts himself for one. And this heal, it only removes 2 harmful effects, and it only does 15%, which is not a lot. I mean, it's better than nothing. This skill sucks. I mean, especially when you have him built HP, crit damage HP to do most of the damage with Armageddon, this skill does nothing. I mean, it doesn't even dot, it doesn't even have a chance to stun, it does nothing. So, you know, I've been trying to get runes that have a little bit more attack, like this one here, subs on it, so that he can at least do something in between his Armageddon cooldown. And, yeah, just, I'm not saying he's a bad monster, but he just, I don't know. Zyros, people love Zyros too, which you can understand. Zyros usually is built to where his first skill is going to do damage because he's built as attack, crit damage, attack, or speed, crit damage, attack. His second skill does dots, it stuns. Well, I mean, if you build him to spare and that, he could stun also. But and his third skill is just great. It does great damage and it knocks your cooldowns down. You know, I mean, and he doesn't hurt himself. You know, whereas Zarath, he can use half his hit points to figure out what his damage is going to be. Then he hits you with it and basically kills himself almost, knocks himself to half. You know, if you don't heal him back up or he's not on vampire, he's then a lot easier to kill right away. So if his third skill goes, and the thing is too, like really heavily defense monsters, like monsters with a lot of defense, it does almost nothing to them. I mean, it's, if they're a really weak monster with nothing on them and they have a defense break, you'll hit really hard. But that's not what you're going to come up against in Arena or in Guild Wars. You're coming up against monsters that have good defense, they have good HP, or they have monsters that are putting up a defense buff on them, like Emma or something like that. So he can be really good, and he can be, you know, I mean, I don't think he's really useful, like I'd say higher in Arena, because most people have really good stats on their monsters, and his Armageddon is just going to be scaled down so far in the damage. He's still fun, I love him, but like, for example, with these runes on, as a vampire, and you can see these stats aren't terrible, I mean, you could have better runes, he fails on Faimon Hell, you know? My towers are almost all maxed. I mean, most of my important towers are all maxed. His tower's maxed, and he still fails on Faimon. So, you know, even though he has a heal, even though that he has this and he's on vampire, he still will fail it. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's what it is. But because I'm using him in Arena mainly, I want to try to get him on a really good rage set, but it just, the runes aren't dropping. And then I want to try him and see, with the most crit damage I can get him, the most attack power and HP I can get him, and then see what he can really do. So, I mean, just like every monster, it needs more time, more runes. Bella, don't use her as much as I did before. TOAH's a really good healer. Like I said, right now I have her as Violent Revenge, so she's going to be the best overall healer besides Chasen, I think, that is in the game, that's in my lineup. Amun, I used him a lot early game. Right now, I was using him in the Wind Rift Beast, but recently I haven't. I just kind of went toward more damage, more like Kali, the Monkey King, you know. So I do more damage and don't worry too much about the healing. Shren, I've used her and not used her. I've never really found a place where she's really, really good. I mean, she's got this great ignoring defense ability here, but again, I haven't really found that great rage runes. So, you know, the best rage runes I have right now are on Kali, because Kali just takes out Chasins. You know, takes out their Bella, or takes out their healer, as long as it's not a water based. Kabila, she was my attack bar booster for a while. She's a great attack bar booster, but recently I was using her as a crit damage attack for the Dark Rift Beast, but because my Homunculus are all farmed up right now, I don't need to farm any more Dark or Light, so currently she's, you know, slowly being stripped of her runes to improve other monsters also. Pang, I use and then stop using her. I was trying her out for R5. I probably will eventually use her on an R5 team that's like a more YOLO. Like I said, when I'm going for the one healer comp with Praha, and then on my other account Annabelle, and then maybe Chasen, and then bring more attackers in, because I love the ability with her skill that or her passive, that it elongates the harmful effects on the enemies. I have her on Razalon too. 2 of my accounts have her, and with that, I mean, the debuffs are always up on the Rift Beast, and they're always like 4, 5, 6 rounds on them, which is really nice to have, because then you know you're getting the least damage out of, or the beast is going to do its least damage possible against you. So eventually, I'd like to build her as a part of my team, if I can get it down to a 1 healer comp, where their runes are good enough to do that. So she's like a future monster I'm going to have on my Rift team. It's just right now it doesn't work at a successful enough rate that I'm happy with. Arya, everyone said build her, she's great, this and that. I use her in TOA now and then, but usually if I'm bringing somebody like her that's going to be an AoE, I'm bringing Mantura, I'm bringing my Water Homunculus, I'm bringing, now that the Dark Homunculus is in the game, I'm bringing her, because those monsters just do a lot more than a potential stun from her, or the part where she's really good at is this here. This basically, it's like, instead of bringing Spectra, I still like Spectra over her most of the time, but there's some levels where they hit so hard and they do so much damage that this glancing really helps. I mean, I've used her a few times, but I mean, it's for a few stages on the whole TOA that, so I mean, if you don't have anything better, you don't have a Mantura, you don't have a Water Homunculus, you don't have those options, yeah, she's probably great. If you farm the Hall of Heroes the first or second time, she's worth building. Yeah, but and then again too, with the recent changes to the succubuses, the not waking up attack on all their skills is really nice too. I mean, I haven't figured a way to capitalize on that completely yet, but eventually when I, you know, give it more time, I will. You know, but she's got a lot of potential. I don't regret building. I mean, 6-starring her. I'm going to use her in the future. Now Chammy, she's an interesting monster. She's not the best at what she does, but right now I'm using her. See, she's HP, speed, crit damage, and she's got a decent amount of HP. Her defense isn't that great, but I use her in front line because of what her passive does, or what her skill does, not passive. This skill here, she heals herself basically, removes all the debuffs, and every time she does that, she gains 50% increased attack power and defense, and it accumulates up to 5 times. So what happens is after she does that during the battles, her defense is up higher. I should still have that higher. I mean, eventually with rune quality improving from farming, this will be higher. I'll have her try to have her run like a base 1,000. And, you know, so this basically makes her tankier, 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 and she cleanses herself, she heals herself, and can do it, you know, as soon as that skill's back up. So I basically farmed a ton of harangues, of course, to max out all her skills. But the problem is, after doing all that, she still probably isn't as good as, like, even the Water Kung Fu Girl. You know, the Water Kung Fu Girl will do more damage, but, you know, like I said, I'm trying to use her as like a front line with I use the Fire Monkey King, Diaz, and her, and it's, you know, like I said, there's a lot of different comps I'm testing right now, from sustainable to speed teams. Veramos, I can't say I use him as much as I used to. I'll use him on some of the levels of TOA where, like, there's a lot of bombers and stuff that putting stuff on you want him to cleanse a lot. I'll use him in that kind of a scenario. Basalt, I haven't really used him recently, because usually when I'm doing TOA, I'm going for like all my daughters and stuff like that. So I'm bringing, you know, Mantura, I'm bringing my Water Homunculus, I'm bringing the Dark Homunculus, and then I'm bringing Brian for a res in case, and then I bring usually a healer like Praha. So he's kind of lost his space recently. He's not bad. I mean, he's still a great healer for there because he does CC also. But I mean, recently I haven't been using him as much. Diaz is definitely front line. You can see I got him pretty beefy, pretty good defense. I got his resistance up high enough, his accuracy. He's definitely a frontline great monster for that. And again, I got him from a wish, which so far that's the best wish I've ever gotten. I mean, on Vemtaz I did get the light hard, but from what I read on him too, he's kind of worthless, it sounds. Ran. I don't use her for TOA right now. She just kind of got some leftover violent runes on her. Manshura, he's good. Yeah, I use him too. He's good for TOA. I mean, these skills are great. This one can remove beneficial effects, which is nice. You get someone with immunity on or invulnerability, he can take it off. His first attack can take it off. You got this one here that defense or takes down their attack speed, and does damage. So that's a really nice one to slow them down. And then this one dots them and defense breaks them. It's a great skill to have him with. Like a lot of times I'll run Beretta, Manshura, Water Homunculus, a healer, and then Brian. That's like my usual go-to team for TOA because it has plenty of dots, plenty of CC, and then it's got the healing and it's got a res in case things go bad. So yeah, I use him a lot still too. But because of this new monster into the game, I've been actually using him a little less, to be honest. I usually will run like a Beretta, Water Homunculus, her, and then the Bryant and a healer, Chasen or Praha, depending on who I need, or Bella even sometimes. Because with Bella puts a defense break, so a lot of the boss stages, you don't get a defense break on that monster throughout the whole fight. You're not really... It takes even longer to kill it, because all your monsters are basically dotting monsters or sustain monsters. There's no one really doing a lot of damage, so without that defense break from like a Bella or somebody else, well, she can actually do it too, but in the second skill here, yeah, but it's nice to have a better chance to get a defense break on. I just 6-starred him recently. I don't really know where I'm going to use, how much I'm going to use him, but I had a couple Ifrits saved up from Guild Wars that I was planning on using on him. Gave him a decent set of attack or damage attack. He's probably slow as crap, yeah. But I figure eventually I'll test him out with like a, because I have the Water Homunculus who can put a lot of dots on. So I think it's Shredded Puzzle uses him and the Water Homunculus together for like a arena competition or compilation. So composition, yes, can't think of the right word. So I'm gonna try that out too. Arena I might build for the stall eventually. Him I used with the, like I said, Katarina earlier. Her, like I said, I might end up building her and trying to use her with the succubuses as Arya, and then, I don't know. I don't think I have any others that I'm planning on building. Now, Triton, I was kind of disappointed to get him because I have him on my Vemtaz account, and I don't know, it could just be RNG, but I really didn't like him on my Vemtaz account. Every time I brought him, he would strip 1 out of 4 monsters, or he didn't seem to have anything besides that, and I think he needs I'm saying he needs a buff, but to me, he just doesn't seem that great. I mean, look at his skills here. That's the same as everybody else. Okay, attacks all enemies, Mighty Wave, silencing them for 1 turn. Okay, this for one, almost everybody has willpower on in the beginning, so unless you strip them first, this is kind of useless. And then even when you use it, it's resisted a lot, or if it works, they violent proc out of it because everything's... So this skill, to me, it's a really waste. I mean, there's times where it does work. I mean, I've had it work against me on defense where it's like it screwed me up, but it's going to fail you more times than it's going to help you. And then this is the one that really bothered me because I had him like high, I had him like 80-some% accuracy, which I know it's probably, it should be plenty. And I would use this time and time again on my Vemtaz account, and it would, Chloe would go up, put all her buffs up on, I would do it, and not one of them, or maybe one of them. And it's like, you bring him for that one roll, and when he fails that roll, you're basically playing 3 players against 4. And it happened so many times, I just stopped using him. And then I ended up pulling Chiwu, where Chiwu at least has a speed lead. He can strip with his first skill, or his second skill, and he can strip with his third skill. So, and he just has a much better kit than this monster, So these first 2 skills are just really lacking, and I don't think they're ever going to change this one, but this one needs to be either a guarantee or something, because it's just, his strip isn't the greatest. It's not guaranteed like Tiana. Yeah, it can knock their attack bar down if it works. If it strips, then it might have a chance. What it should maybe do is strip, chance, and then this is guaranteed to knock their attack bar down. So at least he has something that makes him, okay, there is value. I can use this. It's going to knock this down. Then I should have this monster going, then you could at least speed tune your team or set it up to where he's actually useful. But right now, on this account, if I didn't have Praha, yeah, I would use him as my stripper. But again, I would mainly go with a team that could probably outspeed and not rely on the stripper. Praha's strip works really good, and she has a heal, and she can crit on her first skill to give her more attack bar. I mean, why would I ever use her over him? You know, yeah, I'm sure you can say, oh well, in this case, when this, you're not gonna. You know, it's like having Tiana and then having another stripper. You're using Tiana. It's like having Samath or having Vanessa. You're using Samath. It's just gonna happen. I'm also kind of use him. I might probably 6-star him eventually. And since the newest change, they made it go towards his attack speed. He's got like holder runes on him right now, but I may try him out again or use him for a speed Giants team. I'm kind of slowly working on her. I don't think I'll ever use her on the R5 team, but again, maybe I will. I kind of gave her some runes while I was leveling her up. I'm working on, as you can see, all these monsters here, or basically for skill ups for her. And then I'm also working on these two for TOA hard 93. Yeah, 1 level, building 2 monsters just for it, because it's such a pain in the you-know-where. So these are all monsters that are kind of going into building Michelle, or building McKean, or not McKean, building Akasha, or building Shaolin. So, and that's how you say Shaolin. So, but yeah, that's kind of this account here. And I don't make this video too long, so I'll run a couple things real quick here. Check my... Oh, I'll show you my towers too. I didn't show you that yet. And as I buy if you watch my it's full, my free-to-play beginner guide, and then I still buy 2-star monsters from the shop because, you know, like I'm Vemtaz, I'm pretty good on my unknown scrolls, but on here I'm pretty low on them. So you get unknown scrolls from farming like magic and such like that. But let's see, throw some stuff. There's my Devilmon I bought. So I keep the 2 stars, and I use those to turn into 3 stars, or to feed the other 2-star Rainbow Mons I find from farming. You know, the 1 stars I just feed to 1 stars, and then eventually turn them into 2 stars, which is boring and takes time to. And you can see my storage here. I'll go through that real quick. Let's see here. I built 2 of these actually for Necropolis in the beginning, but as you can see right now I'm not using either of them because I got a different team. So it's kind of a waste. I probably shouldn't have built 2 of them, but at the time, he was the one that does the most attacks, I guess, out of any monster in the game, multiple attack skills. I have a second TOAH. I had her built with some runes, but right now I don't. Him, I'm a little disappointed, and they buffed his attack like 10% or something, one of these attacks or all of them. But I built up a bunch of ninjas, fed them to him, got them all maxed out. I would use him with Zarath, you know, because he's a light speed leader. Let's see. Yeah, 30%. So I would use him, Zarath, Kabila, and then like a Galleon. And so they would get the defense break up on him. He would go and he'd hit with really good runes, and he did like 10,000. And I'm like, okay, really good runes, defense break. But again, they made his attacks towards speed now with that newest change. So maybe, or is it all of the skills? No, it's not this skill. See, there you go. So that one does towards attack speed. That one does towards attack speed. And this one does not. So if this went off attack speed, he might be a good monster. Why did they not buff this skill too? I don't know. They hate Jin. I don't know. Maybe. Oh well. Him I built. I really haven't used him that much. He's good for a couple TOA levels. I'll probably build her eventually for another arena thing. I'm going to build him probably. I'm using him on Vemtaz, my Vemtaz account, and it's working out really well. Him I pulled as a fake nat 5. She's good for a stall defense, I hear, but you know, there's my Sigmaris that I pulled. And you can see I keep, you know, all the fusion monsters, nat 4s. I try to keep at least one of every nat 4. So, but anyways, that's kind of it. I don't want to keep this video too long. I'll make other videos in the future showing what this account does in like Necropolis, Dragons, Giants, and I'll showcase a lot of Zarath videos because I know a lot of people like Zarath, so I'll make videos showing his damage in different areas of the game where I can use him, where he's useful, but I'll try to stop it there at this video. Maybe we do run one arena battle real quick. Yeah, I'll use him in there just to show you him. Although I'm gonna have to. It's just this is my phone account, so it's not the way it's set up. Let's see. I'll go with my current team I use. Let's see. Where is Praha? If I can find my monsters. There's Praha. And Galleon I just recently got. I mean, he was like the last. I mean, I needed him for forever, and I finally pulled him on this account. So this is a comp I'll usually use in the arena. I mean, I use this. I usually use my Azaria Megan Doublelution, but this is the one I would like to build up again with really good runes and see how it does. If I could get Xerath on a really good rage set, I think it would be nice. They should still be speed 2. So like, say, pretend they have buffs on them. See how the first thing I'll do is that, you know, I'll AoE try to strip their buffs. Before, as Despair, I would try to stun somebody. And then, of course, he'll go put on his time to loot. And hopefully this doesn't kill them, but Poseidon will do this. He attacks all enemies, drops their attack bar down. So I do this. Why did I slow it to 1 for that? Yeah, and I killed them all. Except Perta. Oops. So, well, we'll Armageddon her with no... 24, almost 25,000 with no defense break. So, again, with squishy monsters with no defense, he does good. He does great. Defense break, he'll hit 40k, you know, 45k. But when it's a monster like a Ritesh or something that has good defense and you don't have a defense break on, say they have willpower on and they resisted it, he'll hit like a 9,000, which to a Ritesh is nothing. He's going to survive it. He's going to come back and just wreck you. So, but anyways, like I always say, you'll see me in the next video.